Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Boks Office. This episode is sponsored by Investec, leading international bank and wealth managers. I am back from the wilderness. We are here to talk all things Investec Champions Cup and European Challenge Cup. With me, Schalk and Jean de Villiers on the couch. We're back at Bishop's for the Boks Office, which is now open. How's it?
Hi.
How are you?
I'm well, thanks yourself.
Hi, Shimmy.
Shimmy he has to introduce himself to the crew because that's how long, for how long he's not been here.
Great.
Shaka Ilembe.
Clap him in.
3 minutes.
Yes, Shimmy. He's back. Yes, Shimmy.
This is Shimmy.
This is Shimmy,
is our
guys.
crew.
Huh?
Just
Oh,
a little,
welcome.
just a little bit of a fun.
finish that first.
Quickly, thank you. In silence.
It's been so long.
In silence. Shh, 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 shh.
Down.
In silence. Shh, shh, shh.
Welcome to the Boks Office.
Yeah.
Yes, Shimmy.
All right, let's see what we got here. I'll be found alive and healthy.
We're rolling.
Okay, cool. We're rolling. Are we rolling?
Yes, we're rolling,
Okay,
boys.
let's get started, boys. So, apologies for being late.
No, it's not a problem, Shimmy.
No worries.
Apologies.
We were worried
Why?
about you. We didn't know where you were.
No, I sent a message on the group saying I'll be five to 10 minutes,
Bravo.
and I was 3 minutes late.
But what about the...
So I skipped the second down.
But how many episodes have you missed?
2.
The people want you.
It had nothing to do with pick and pay.
No, you sure?
Yeah, don't worry, I've been watching.
Where was it then?
I saw Kids Off the other night. Did you see us ripping you off, eh? Did you see what we said about you? We found him.
We did. That's good to have you back, Shimmy.
Nice, Shimmy.
No, that's a lot of conspiracy theories were created there, but it had nothing to do with pick and pay. Well, let's talk about actually when the first episode I was away, that haircut of yours.
Yeah.
What was the backstory there?
Yeah. It's grown back.
What happened? What happened? What was the backstory there?
Unlike his.
It hasn't grown back, boys.
What was the backstory?
No, it's a bad day at the barber.
It was
Paid him for that nonsense.
I did?
Shimmy. It's
Yeah.
one thing seeing it on the screens in person.
No, it was
Yeah.
next level.
It was unreal.
Is that your usual barber or did you change? Or your stylist? They're not barbers, they're stylists.
No, it was a bad day, Shimmy. But you know, like, it made me a stronger person after that day.
It's like he went
Getting
there.
abused by Flecky and Schalk.
I mean, I thought Dolph Lundgren made a comeback. We were sitting in Shimmy's seat, interviewing me and Flecky. We weren't too sure who we were looking at.
Dolph Lundgren.
Yes.
Was it a Paul Jim thing,
It was
you know?
it was a bit tight.
Is it?
Yeah,
Very tight.
it's short. Yeah, he didn't understand the assignment correctly. It was.
And your wife let you leave the house looking like
Oh
it?
no,
Were you guys arguing that morning? Or?
no, my dog was barking at me. No, that was short. Eh?
I'll tell you one thing, I'll tell you a quick. I did Sani TC. So we have a fines meeting the second last night. Remember Pat Cilliers, the prop?
Very well.
Apparently he got to the top of, what's the one we're talking about?
Iconic.
Iconic. Takes everything off, and this one guy taps him, because he's lost a lot of weight now, taps him on the shoulder. He says, is he Jean de Villiers?
Did Pat tell the story?
No, the guy that was riding with Pat. He's lost a lot of weight though, I must say. Yeah, he's got the blonde hair.
It was always a
It was never big,
thin,
yeah.
a big.
108, 9 kilogram prop, so he was never the biggest.
No, he's lean now.
Scarlett, the myth of Schalk in the mountains continues. There's this hill called Iconic. No one gets off. You know, everyone gets off. Sorry.
Yeah.
Guess who kills on his first time?
Cruised up there. It's a long time ago now, boys.
See, I
But,
cruised up there.
cruised up there. Granny. Yeah. He was on an e-bike.
I made it all the way to the top.
He motored his way up there on the
I
e-bike.
put that thing on turbo, and I just kept going.
So you did starting to see on an e-bike.
Yeah. Why are you going e-bike? Like it's why you keep saying I did it on a bike? Why do you keep saying e-bike?
It's like a motorcycle. It's like a motorcycle.
I'll tell you. John was on the e-bike next to me, and John...
Did you have a tandem?
and John can go. The one time we're going up this hill, but John puts it in turbo. But he cycles past me, and these guys in front of me, he went up so quickly, the one that goes, yes! He got a fright. That's how quickly he was flying up the hill. Yeah. The big John, 130 kilograms flying up the hill there.
But I must say
It's good fun there.
that event, the way you want to do it is on an e-bike, because like obviously the evenings there,
Yeah.
you don't go to bed early. I did one of them. I'd love to do another one of those Sani 2Cs.
Yeah.
On an e-bike.
On an e-bike, yeah.
But like for you that cycles a lot, what, is it it's a tough race?
Yeah, it's a tough race.
It's tough,
just,
John.
yeah,
It's
it's just,
No, I mean, any race will be tough. for
yeah.
you.
Yeah.
It's long days, like it's 100K days, so
Cheap.
you can't squash it. There's a couple of stage races, which is like 50 kilometers, which you can just blast out and sort of go. You're not that long in the saddle, but Sani is a lovely race, though. For us as Cape Townians, it's amazing to experience those trails because it's such an effort to get there. So
We had a big, the Saturday, the day before the last night. Still got to cycle 80 Ks.
Yeah.
Had quite a big one, so I saw John, in the corner, the cigar started coming out, so I went to bed.
yeah.
The next day, about an hour and a half into the ride, he said, Shimmy, do you have any headache pills?
But that's what makes the e-bike wonderful, because if you're on just a normal analog bike, it's a long,
Paramedics
long
had to
time
give him
go.
some panadas.
Empanadas.
Yeah, some panadas
But
too.
I mean, he's a impressive human being as well, Smitty.
No, on the bike, he's amazing on the
Yeah,
bike.
but I mean, and also, I mean, you're not a small guy to
Yeah.
be able to do those kind of stage
Epics.
races.
Did an
to
epic
do the
last year.
epic, to do the Ironman, full Ironman.
Yeah.
And then and it's not as if he goes to bed at
He's
9
not-
o'clock
Nah.
in the evening.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
goes to bed last.
Yeah, no, I saw him in the corner there, and then, Shimmy, do you have some headache pills? But he goes for it though. He flipping.
We did a
finishes.
we did a wine to Wales together, me and Barney, and it was pre-epic, so it wasn't in the greatest of nick. And then we had big nights, and then what's most impressive, he just locks in and just goes. You're not allowed to touch him,
Doesn't complain,
some other partners you can push up or
Yeah.
help up. He does not say a word. He just goes head down.
Yeah.
Just loves pain. Like if I had to endure that much pain, my motto is no pain. No pain.
Pain and
I would have jumped off that bike a long time ago and just pushed it. He just cracks on.
Scala, just schoolboy rugby. We saw your lighty, Nicole. Is it what was Nicole?
Yeah, Nickel,
And Sia's lighty,
Nick,
Nick.
yeah,
Did they play against each other?
Bishop Sachs. I wasn't
Was
there.
Sia there?
I was away. I was calling some games.
Yeah.
Sia wasn't there. Sia was also en route somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure where, but I saw him in Cape Town International flying, I think, to a wedding. His best
No,
mate's
Nick Holton's wedding in Peru.
Yes,
I think in
and
Peru,
I
yeah.
saw you just after that going. I was calling the Pretoria game.
I spoke to you.
And you were in studio, and then I got the photo actually from Anne-Lee Murray,
Yeah.
the ex-mother of the Springboks. So she basically sent that photo. She came to watch. Rachel was there, Michelle, my missus, was there, and then good day out for Sachs this time around. So 21-0 was the score. Home game, home ground advantage.
So
against
Burger one
Bishop.
up against Sia.
Yeah, little Nick. Sia's Lighty plays lock, and Mark plays loose forward.
Yeah.
So lekker, man. They just enjoy it. That's the main thing, So many parents now at like under 11s or under 13s, they're thinking about other stuff and rugby careers. These kids must just run around. It was a terrible day. Like today, it was mud everywhere. Oaks got rinsed, rolled around, but like youngsters playing in mud, running around, chasing a ball, playing rugby, it's the best.
And Jean, tell school parents' behavior on the side of the field. I can tell you what breaks me is the coaches, basically on the 22 meter with the chinos on the field. There's about 6 of them at under 10 level, chirping their players. But the parents' behavior.
But you think it's isolated to rugby. It's not.
Nah.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually, and funnily enough, the same day that Schalk and Sia's kids played against each other, my son played against Schalk Brits
Oh, amazing.
as well. Yeah, so they also played.
What position is Scala Brits' kid?
He plays scrum off.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was fly off a little bit.
The position that Schalk should have played.
Not hooker.
No, but he's a nice little player, Hunter.
Yeah.
But
Hunter's the youngest.
the middle one.
The middle one. Luke's
I
the
actually
youngest.
had
Another one there.
on the weekend, my son also played hockey,
Yeah.
and the coach of the opposing team was in between, so reffing in between the players.
Nah, man.
Okay, with the same color shirt as the players. So I like walked up to, I mean, do you know a brother?
Yeah.
And I walked up, I said, hey, but at halftime, isn't it just possible, maybe just a burp, or I don't know if it's normal to be in between the kids, you know? And ref from there, yes, like it, but I got attitude. I was like, okay,
sorry.
I'm out of here.
Oh, what, the teacher?
Yeah, the teacher. I was like, okay, I'm just making a suggestion, you know, okay. I approached it very nicely, walked away. It's, you know, parents and I think coaches at school level and primary school and high school, it's just too, it's just too much at times. You know, at the end of the
What's the worst thing you've seen?
I just think the behavior is, it's just too serious. It's at the end of the day, you want the kids to go out there and enjoy themselves.
Yeah.
Okay. And yes, obviously you always play to win. You play to get, you know, to do your best. But the emotion, the shouting, you know, all of that next to the field. It's just, and like you said, the coaches also from a rugby point of view, you know, then they're on the 22-meter line.
Now that's one I don't get. Why are they on the field? Because somewhere if someone's going to have a bit of a rugby twitch and make a tackle, try a saving tackle as a 38-year-old rugby coach, you know, get off the bloody field. Look, John, I'm not educated at water polo at all, and I went to watch one water polo game. Holy cow. The coaches, the parents, they red card the parents out of the, because they're like on top of the swimming pool. And then
Water polo is tribal.
It's next level. And it's only like 20 minutes, but that 20 minutes feels like you've been
a million years.
A million years. I had to go stand on the outside. I couldn't deal with it. And they're screaming at the kid, which is there, and there's like a marked off area. They enter that, the coach get a red, 10 of the parents got red cards. No, it's absolutely nuts. And that's the stock standard.
Is that normal?
I was like, is that out of the ordinary? And they're like, no, that's just how it goes every single day. It's quite a thing for the parents to get red carded and go stand outside on the hill, watch their kids play water polo.
But I think
Imagine the drive home.
No.
Dad, you got a red card. It was quite embarrassing.
Yeah. You didn't even
Mom
play.
and Dad went.
I think primary school might be worse than high school.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. You know, and then you go watch actually, I saw Dion Fourie on the weekend as well. So he's light, he played, but he's also chill next to the field and whatever. You know, the smaller the kids, the more, you know, the parents are.
Especially if they still play in that small little field.
Yeah, and like, they want to get like, go, tackle. Like.
Have you ever had that feeling where you arrive at a venue and it's like under 10s and you've been ambushed? Like you get there and, I mean, the parents have set you up to fail. The coach is reffing and like it's just a one-way traffic and everyone's rinsing each other and screaming on your kids. Like sometimes it's so bloody intimidating. Luckily for me, I'm just so relaxed. I just stand there. But like I try and encourage other parents to have the same mindset.
Just to enjoy. You don't even know the score half the time. You're just watching.
Yeah.
Like,
No, you know the score. You gotta know the score.
Know the score.
Have you seen little De Villiers play rugby?
All I know he's...
The man can play.
The
kid can play.
All I know he's...
Little John Curran.
All I know he's super fast. I've seen...
He showed me clips.
I've seen him run. I know he's super fast.
No, but you know what happened the one game? And this is now the gospel. So Lucas scored a try, whatever. And then the one parent or whatever of the opposing team is like, no, that's unfair. I mean, your son's not allowed to play and be so fast. But he's like jokingly saying it. And I'm like, and this is the honest truth. I'm like, well, like seriously, he's the 4th or 5th quickest in the team. Like seriously. Just got a lucky.
Maybe I'm just comparing the Burger versus the De Villiers. Like, I don't think we've got any gas in our side.
Paul Jim, #1 in the country at the moment. And they drew with Rondebosch. Let's just get that out the way.
Did Rondebosch lose the case?
No, I'm just asking. No, let's get this out the way. Let me start the line of questioning here,
Okay.
Paul Jim, #1 in the country.
Yes.
Did they draw with Rondebosch?
Yes.
Not in a full game. Not a full rugby game. It wasn't a full rugby game.
Okay, why are you getting so serious now?
No, I'm just saying.
Your eyes are popping out. You want that old haircut? Jeebus, I'm just saying.
Context.
If you had the old haircut,
But
you would have punched you straight in the head right now. We're gone.
But yes, so also #1 in the country netball.
But 2 Johns.
Polja. And also top 3 in hockey.
Hockey.
Girls.
Okay.
And top 10 hockey Boys.
Boys, yeah.
Next week, Boks Office is coming live from Belgium. There'll be a bride right next to us. Okay.
No, but it's
okay, no, that's
impressive.
good. That's
I'm
impressive.
really proud.
I'm surprised how you guys for your school. I mean, you told me it's for the rugby side. Sorry, I'm not. That there's 600 or 700 boys there.
No.
It's less.
550.
550 boys.
That's impressive. Okay, guys, look, on a sad note, obviously, Cornell Hendricks, you guys played just a short tribute to him. I mean, what a guy. We've seen the sort of stuff that's put on social media, but you guys both played a lot of rugby with him.
Yeah, I played with Cornell 14-15 with the Boks. And then obviously, we all thought he was done with the heart condition, and then came back and the Bulls gave him a second chance at a career, and he was exceptional for the Bulls. But I think the standout feature, what I remember most about him, is his energy in the changing room.
Always.
Whether it's a Finds meeting, it was sense of humor, it was that laugh. That was the standout feature. On top of that, what he, moved to centre for the Bulls, just after COVID, and how successful he was there in a very successful team was, like a cherry on top for his rugby career.
Yeah. And Boykie. Hey, Boykie.
Boykie.
Yeah, Boykie. No, flip, man. It's just so sad, eh?
Yeah.
To see him go so young and
Yeah.
a phenomenal human being. And I think the impact that he leaves on the world, not just the way that he played rugby, but he was really a positive human being. I think he created impact in people's lives, and in a way, rugby, when he had the heart condition, rugby was his passion, and rugby was his platform to be able to create change, and he came back to rugby because that's where he wanted to make a difference. And you just see the way that his teammates talks about him, and honestly, where you can, and I was really, when I got the news, it was terrible. But you see the way that these other teammates also talks about him. Not a single person that I've met has got anything bad to say about him. It's all positive, and it's about the positive effect that he had. But it's
you saw the impact it made on Jake White.
He
Spoke about him. Loftus, I mean, that tribute there was special. Then also even Elizabeth coming up.
Sharks, that was such a nice tribute.
The tribute where everyone warmed up in a number 14 jersey, and they sold everyone on all the jerseys on auction for proceeds to the family. So, he's going to be missed, and unfortunately, at age 37, gone way too soon.
Yeah.
And maybe Shimmy to add, because I think a lot of questions then immediately were asked about his heart condition, etc., etc. But he came back to rugby because that's his passion, that's his love, and that was the platform for him to really just be happy. And I think we must get away from I think there'll be people wanting to blame rugby in a way for this.
Yeah,
it's nothing like that. It was a beautiful life, and just lucky that we could share some of it with him.
Nice, guys. On another note, guys, let's look. First of all, condolences to his family. I think from the Boks Office. It's obviously sad. It's we don't often talk about things like this, but I think it's important to pay tribute to a guy that's added so much to rugby and to his teammates. But chaps, on a domestic note, let's look at did you watch the Sharks Scarlets game?
Yeah.
Okay, Scarlets.
We had to.
Tell me what you really think.
I watched a couple of minutes, okay, and then I switched over to anything else.
It was a tough watch, but look, the Sharks. I mean, we've got the Sharks are 3-3.
Yeah.
Home play off. Bulls home play off. Stormers go to
Glasgow.
Is it Glasgow or Glasgow?
Glasgow.
Glasgow. Is it Glasgow or Glasgow?
I don't know. Depends.
I don't know. I say Glasgow, but John says Glasgow.
Yeah, we said Glasgow.
Glasgow.
Glasgow. Yeah. How do you think they're going to go?
To Glasgow.
All three teams.
Go to Glasgow.
Sharks Munster, Bulls Edinburgh, Stormers Glasgow or Glasgow.
If the Sharks play the way they played on the weekend, I think they'll lose that game. I think the Munster is not the Munster of old, but they're well coached. In Craig Casey and Jack Crowley, they've got at least guys that can control the game, decent enough pack with some finishes on the outside. But surely the Sharks cannot be as bad again.
But they've been that bad for the last month, and they've been getting results.
Yeah.
They're third on the log. If you look where they are, they're third. I mean,
They won 13 games in the season.
Yeah, and you hope that they can
13 or 14.
actually go on that stint and the bit of momentum that they got last year when they went into the playoffs for EPCR. You know, you're hoping that they've got the players that knows how to play in big games. But yes, from what we've seen, so difficult to back them. But at home,
they get it over the line, though.
Which they do. And you look at the team sheet on the weekend, and you go like, okay, I mean, surely Scarlets can't compete. But then you look at the way they play. I mean, it was our third game in studio. Okay, so there's a bit of a mitigating circumstance.
On a Saturday,
afternoon.
symptoms.
But my word, it was a hard watch. I mean, how they got to 12 points, no one knows. You know, like it was 3-3 for the bulk of the game. And you know, the Sharks outkicked them, and then the only thing they've got in their armour is a set-piece battle. And that took 60 minutes to break Scarlets down at the scrums at least. They got that. There was one facet of play where they hold on to the ball for 20 phases, making all of, let's give them 8 meters. Narrow attack, just Andre Estesen in the vacuum, it gets over the gain line, and there's no shape beyond that.
Yeah.
They started trying to play a bit, but it was almost like there was no role clarity on every single play. If they did get it through the first phase, which was once in the first half, then they'll stuff it up the next phase, just people in the wrong space in the area. So,
but also it's kind of no variation and no
Zero.
options in the attack. You know, at
no
least
rhythm.
a bit of a
There's
shape.
Zero rhythm there.
You can't just go one-off runners for 15 phases.
But guys, they're third on the log. They got a
No. So
that's
But
why,
I'll give
like,
you one thing. They win. They know how to win, though.
Munster will get there this next weekend, and they'll be better coached and nicer structure, similar to, say, Scarlets on the weekend. But then the Sharks will, in Durban at least, somehow scramble a win.
Yeah.
You know, like certain players, Eben Etzebeth back on the weekend gets a man of the match after discovering that Bongi Mbonambi's head is harder than his knee 2 weeks ago. But the team sheets, I mean, it's unreal. Sia wasn't there this weekend.
He'll be back.
He'll be back.
I think he makes a huge difference. He's the one thing about the Sharks this season, in my opinion, one of the best players has been Sia.
Yeah.
He's rocked up every week.
And when they have Sia and Eben.
Yeah, it's just a balance that, you know, it just gives them a different look, a different balance, I think, when Sia's there. Bulls, Edinburgh?
Bulls.
So just a quick thing. The one positive.
Don't be sorry. Yeah?
I'm going to be sorry at least once per episode. I thought when the reserves came on, they actually created a bit of, you know...
Kunu was good.
Yeah, brought a bit of tempo, but still they weren't able to actually convert that. But that's a...
Mukunu was the best on the weekend from the subs.
Yeah.
He made a real impact. Even got a little tip off to Fez Mbata into the channel there. Like it was a bit more energy. There was more energy about them. So the problem is, I mean, we've all been involved in teams like that. Can you just snap out of it?
It's difficult.
It's difficult if that is the way it's been going, you know.
Error on error on error.
So it doesn't matter how much energy you put into it. Those errors immediately dissipates every single bit of positive energy you had before, because then you're back to a set piece. But luckily for them, their scrum is solid. Their line-out is exceptional.
All their fundamentals are good. They can dominate line defensively.
And what goes underrated, because we look at the dysfunctional attack, is their defence is incredible. And the way they hung tough on their tour, those 2 games where they just grinded out victories. You know, there's something to be said for doing that. They're hard to break down.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be hard in Durban to score 30 points against.
Still backing the Sharks.
Okay, not Munster, not your home team, that filled up that bank account of yours with plenty of rands. Plenty of rands back then. It was 20 euros.
No, it's Munster.
The way you spoke about Munster, you know.
Munster was lucky to get into the top 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Tight game against Benetton.
Okay, Bulls, Edinburgh.
Bulls.
Okay. You don't see Edinburgh doing something there?
No, I think it's a what's the word I'm looking for? It's because they had the match in the EPCR. Playoff.
Yeah, revenge game.
So it's a revenge game for them.
Edinburgh beat them at Loftus.
Loftus factor still counts. I think it's a half-post 1 kick-off.
Yeah. Yeah, half-past one. And I think the Cornell emotion.
Yeah.
I think there's you know, a lot of the times you see, remember the Crusaders of old, kind of when they had the earthquakes and stuff as well, when there's kind of this bigger thing you're playing for.
Let's
you know,
talk about
sometimes
that season. They were on the road for the entire season.
Yeah.
And lost against the Reds in the final. They got into they came to beat the Stormers, us here at Newlands
Yeah.
in the semi.
Good old-
Who was captain?
One thing
Good
for
old
the
days.
one
Who
thing
was
for
captain of the Storms?
me.
Oh.
He was gone that night. He did he lost
Awkward, yeah. Yes, Shimmy.
he lost the next
As I
semi.
was saying,
It was either of us, okay?
It was one of us.
It was either of us, and we lost.
We lost. The one thing I wanted to say is no Johan Goosen. I don't think.
Oh, yeah.
Billy's the key there. I think.
Keegan Johannes, attacking wise, very good. On the weekend again. Goal kicking went pear-shaped for him on the weekend. So if it's a tight game, you need someone to step up and kick for goal. David Creel did it for a little bit until he had a wobble in Cape Town not too long ago where he couldn't kick anything.
I think everyone wobbled that day.
Allowed this. The Stormers lost that game. Is that the game where
Blommer had that kick at the end.
Blommetjies
Quickly, just on kickers, how's Apelele Fassi's kick on the weekend?
unbelievable?
How's that for a left foot? I mean,
I'm sure
thinking,
he played fly off at school. If
Oh,
I'm not
really?
mistaken. I think so. I think he might have played fly off at school.
I mean, just thinking Springboks. I mean that.
No, that makes makes a
Yeah.
big difference. So, but the Bulls' attacking game is amazing with Willie at fullback.
Yeah.
Billy's the key. They didn't have him in the final last year, remember?
Yeah.
I think he was injured and you could see
Yes.
they almost looked rudderless
Yeah,
in
he
attack. Even there was space.
And-
Stormers against, okay?
Also, I'm not going to say
Okay,
sorry.
okay.
Also, we know what Glasgow has done. Glasgow has done
Glasgow, man.
in Pretoria. I don't know if Edinburgh can do the same. I don't know if they've got the same fitness levels, probably, and personnel to do the same. I think altitude will play a part.
Stormers, Glasgow?
Jeez, Shimmy, you've got to say, how's the Stormers on the road, boy? How are they feeling this time of the year? 'Cause that's my biggest worry.
They would have learned from it, but Glasgow have got a lot of injuries, I think. A lot of guys coming back from injury.
Will they have Damien Willemse?
Well, I think he's got a hearing somewhere this week. These things,
The only thing that scares me about that is like Neetling for sure got a red, which was not even a penalty.
but you're talking about the Willemse incident.
Yeah, and he got a month.
Weeks or whatever.
Damien, I mean, yes, he clips him on the. He's not even looking at it. It's that one where you sort of want to play, you want to force the guy to have a dummy, you turn away, the guy runs into the back of your shoulder. I mean, surely that can't be 4 weeks. And is it? There's a
Really
week off.
enough.
Do they give him time? Do they give them
No,
games? Because sometimes they give
it's
you a
in the
game.
wording, yeah, it's like 1 week or one game.
One game. If it's one game, he misses.
Yeah. But obviously he wanted to play for Marty's this weekend.
Can the Stormers get across the line?
They can.
Glasgow Friday night and Scottstown.
Is if
In Glasgow.
In Glasgow.
I reckon if I don't know if he's going to be fit, but if Tupilotu plays at 12, that's a big.
And Hugh Jones.
And Hugh Jones, that's a big,
Yeah.
big thing for me.
But also it can go both ways, Scala, because both of them have not played for a long time. So if you do start with them, I think
There's a lot of guys that are coming back. from
yeah,
injury.
but they'll have to play them to at least get a little bit of game time before the Lions
Before
tour.
the Lions.
You know, so I think they'll be forced to play them. It is a bit of a gamble with two guys that have not played a lot of rugby, but they're impressive together.
Yeah.
You haven't given me a score, guys.
I'm going to go Glasgow just on the Stormers travelling form.
JDV?
It's difficult to look past that. I think the conditions will suit the Stormers. You know, Astro
Yeah.
will probably be dry.
Remember last year, it's a repeat of last year's quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The wind was howling, the rain was coming in sideways, and
Okay. So
the
it's
Stormers
probably not going to be
the Stormers
dry.
the Stormers had chances in that game, but ultimately fell short.
It's difficult to go against Glasgow at home.
Cool. Investec Champions Cup. Let's talk that. Okay. Let's talk about the competition as a whole. Outside of international rugby, Scala, I think you've won it 2 or 3 times.
Twice.
You've played in the competition. Is it the holy grail of rugby?
Club rugby. Yeah.
Of club rugby, yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Outside of that, it's the best trophy to win.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys have won World Cups.
I was in studio calling that Bordeaux
Toulouse.
game, and I couldn't help but walk out of that studio thinking we should have a South African side one day going flat out for this comp. I mean,
That is the holy grail.
The atmosphere, the quality of that game, and that's the best club rugby game I have seen in the last 12 months. One of the best rugby games I've seen.
Don't discard the Saints Leinster game as well. I think both those games were.
It was incredible. And how Saints season, guys, they're 8th in the Prem Log.
Yeah.
And yet they're in a final playing some proper rugby in that competition, you know. And the biggest knock-on effect for them is that half their team became internationals, and now they had to do dual role, play Premiership and play international.
Yeah.
And I think it's taken a toll on their players, but I'm looking forward to this weekend, guys.
So just on the subject of Saints, Henry Pollock, your thoughts on him?
I like him. He brings something different.
What's his best position?
I would say I would love him off the bench for the start of his career.
Okay, for England or the Lions?
For England and Lions, actually.
Off the bench for the Lions also, okay.
I think if you often see, if you pick, you know, 4 loose forwards that do the same role, where's your impact? You know, where do you change a game if you need to, or where do you take a game away from
Good
someone?
call, actually, yeah.
So like he's so dynamic, he's almost like having another back on the field. You know, he's good at the breakdown, but I think his point of difference is how fast he is.
I didn't realize how quick he is. Gee, he was on that line break. He beat, was it Predagross on the outside?
Yeah. I mean, like that's his point of difference. So like if you're chasing a game and the game opens up, you know, you don't want to label him as anything, but you think how many times Kwacha's changed the direction of a game for the Boks.
Yeah.
And he brings something completely different to, you know, what our starters do. You know, if you think we've got Sia, Peter Steff, and we've got Visa at number 8 normally, and then Kwacha comes on, you know, he's so dynamic on the ball, something completely different. He doesn't have the stopping power or maybe the grunt of the others. But the way he moves and, you know, his energy brings us out. Like, that's what I think for now, at least. You know, you've got to involve him in the 23.
And especially if you have a proper strategy in place for him, you know, knowing that, okay, you're going to give him 30 or 35, you know, towards in the second half, and, you know, he can play his normal game, he can be a little bit loose.
And I guess that's the key. You don't want to change what he's got now.
Yeah.
The point of difference, so you've got to build in, you know, a bit of freedom in around the way he comes and plays. You know, like he's got to make a difference. Wow. I think when you start at international level rugby, it can be tough, especially in the beginning. You know, it's a attritional game, and, you know, do you have the firepower to, you know, stick it out with the big boys, or are you more efficient coming off the bench and changing? You know, there's no doubt he's no doubt he's going to start international rugby at some stage.
Confident youngster also. You can see the confidence shine.
I mean, look, I mean, he loves
which is a good thing, yeah.
And also,
it's a good thing. I still think, you know, by doing that, someone's going to, you know, put his name on a wall and say, listen, you're mine. He's gonna get owned some stage. We all do, don't we? I know what I would have been doing if I was still playing. You know?
But if you're on a high like that, you know, you wanna be able to capitalize on that as much as possible.
Yeah.
He's full of energy. He's full of confidence now. You want to build on that. Give him,
go.
I
think it's good for it.
One thing in rugby, like form doesn't last forever. When you pick on form, and if someone's made such a big impact now at European against Leinster, which is international side, there's nothing stopping him from doing it in a Lions series against Australia.
Yeah. Erlen Willis kept him quiet this week, and I think Saracens played Saints. But is he one of these players? I mean, you know the good ones, Scala. Monday you say, okay, I've got to watch this guy.
Yeah.
On a Friday you playing loose forward, you know, listen here, tomorrow is not I've got to be aware. You know, John, same thing at centre. You know, there's certain guys you're going to play against that you realize, look, tomorrow is not a joke. I've got you're going to say there's no one that you played against. That.
No, the media's talking him up. You know, he's getting a lot of attention. And when you're in the opposition team, as Scala said, you know, you want to prove a point as well.
Yeah.
You know, every single time you go out onto the field, you want to be better than the opposition. And I think he is that kind of guy at the moment, where guys want to prove that they're better than him, or at least make a statement. Yeah. But you know, he's been able to live up to the hype. So well done for him. But there will be some adversity along the way as well.
How did Leinster blow it again?
They were definitely...
We spoke about that. Sorry, Scarlett.
Yeah.
The choking tag. Choking tag now. Is it still relevant, or is it a worry?
Yeah, it's a worry. For sure it is. I think every time we get to this stage of the comp and they sort of copy and paste their player management processes from the year before, even though the result doesn't, the outcome is not ideal. So I'm almost of the point of view they've got to change that. You know, like this weekend they played their strongest available side, and years gone by, if they were in a European final, that wouldn't have been the case. Before they played Northampton, you know, that team didn't play together from the quarterfinal, which is 3 weeks, you know, where the team, some individuals would have been involved, some wouldn't have, where they beat Glasgow by 50 points. And you know, sometimes, John, if you, one or two of us have missed out on a week, you come back, you're fine. But if 23 of us or 15 of us have not played for 3 weeks, you can be below par. And I think that's
just not in sync.
That first half, they, from a work rate aspect, like Henry Pollock's try was a kicking battle that carried on for like 5 minutes and they dropped off. Where normally you would think that's where Leinster gets better. The longer the ball in play, the more, you know, unstructured position they get to sort of get in their shape and set up and, you know, pick on the one bloke who stopped working. You know, it was vice versa. The longer the ball was in play, the better Northampton were in that game. And kick return was unreal. They didn't even have Furbank in that game. They played with man at the back, and he was exceptional with kick returns. But that was a work rate thing. And because their work rate was off, their defence lacked. You know, they still tried to rush even though they gave up gain line, which you can't. And then second half, they had all the energy, and ultimately that game could have gone either way. But they left themselves too much to do. And how many times in a big game you chase and you get yourself back in the game and you just fall up short? That's
Short
what
at the
happens.
end, I think. Sorry, Scarlett. I think.
Hold hands if you want to. We haven't seen each other for a long time.
I think what was I going to say now?
I've got that effect on you, John.
It's a lot has been said about the defence now. But then you go, Leinster's defence. Yeah. But then you go and look at the tries that they conceded. So you talk about the kick chase, Finn Smith breaking the line. It's just an unbelievable line. Yeah. But the connection and being in sync, as we mentioned earlier, it was a line of three. The fourth guy just being a little bit off.
Just out of
Finn Smith getting that line perfect.
Pollock's try is a good example.
The same thing, just a bit of spacing.
And it's just like almost like you just set a little bit late. We've all been involved in those games. You're just 5% off. You set late. There's a little dog leg. Someone picks a line. Normally you're there because you're there early. You can look up. You can see the threat coming. But if you're there late, you're looking at the ruck. You look up. He's picked the line,
and he's gone with that pace. But then also the kicking game. You know, the one box kick. Yeah. Good contesting, not being able to feel talky going, and then play. What was it? The wing.
It was a hat trick for
Freeman. No,
Freeman. Freeman gets the hat trick in the first.
So, but that's not defensive system. You know, that's elements of the game where it goes your way. So, I think the tag will remain.
Yeah.
The fact that they're playing in so many playoffs and not getting past it, the tag will remain. But in saying that, they've also been unlucky in that they've been up against proper teams on the day being exceptional. And that you need to take into account as well. Because I thought Saints were phenomenal.
At the end, remember that try with the Saints lock got a yellow? Do you think that's a try?
I didn't agree with the referee's knock-on call because I don't think it was a knock-on. I think it was stripped. Okay, I mean, the rule's a bit iffy there because they actually penalised the tackler for not releasing, but you can't release someone there. He scores the bloody try. Yeah. With Van der Fleer that had the ball. But then the ball gets stripped and you can't play the ball on the ground. Yeah. And I think that's where the trial would have been disallowed, that, you know, the clean happened. Whoever dotted it down, was it Crowley? No?
Yeah.
It was, eh?
Yeah, I think, I can't remember.
Anyway,
so you can't play it from the ground, though.
You can't.
Crowley.
Or was it who? Anyway, someone came off the bench. I don't think you can take part in the game. It's like tackling someone, or if you're off your feet, you've got to regain your feet before you can actually take part in the game again. But I don't know the rules well enough to know if that was a try or not. For me, it just looked like it wasn't a try.
The only other option, if you got a yellow, then it's a penalty try. Because if you stop them in the act of scoring a try, that's the only. That's where the debate comes. And would he have been tackled and then managed to reach over the score?
That's predominantly where there's foul play.
Yeah.
You know, not when you make a honest mistake, like you tackle, you don't release the player. Also, I mean, Van der Vlees going in the act of scoring a try, you're going to put your body underneath it, aren't you? I mean, you're not going to release him, he scores a try, and then you're going to try and jack.
You're going to try to stop him,
Look, they still, off the back of that, they went to, I mean, there was a bit of panic there for sure. So they lost Kalen Doris, okay. Jack Conan, I think, was running the captaincy, and they went to the quick tap, which served them well. They did 2 tries like that, and then they knocked it on off the
first carry. Was it the first carry?
First carry, which was bizarre. Like, it's the easiest rack, you know.
It was still in their hands, even though they didn't get the try awarded.
JDV, if they don't win URC,
then the pressure hammer is coming down hard.
I think so too.
No,
if they don't win URC, it's another choke.
No, I think the pressure on them to win the Vodacom URC now is huge.
They weren't good on the weekend
against Glasgow, so
a lot of errors, similar to the Northampton game. Not
strongest team selected.
Strongest team selected, no rhythm, a lot of errors, which is unusual for them.
So look, they've got Scarlets, who they lost to in the round robin stages, quarter-final, and then they've got Glasgow or the Stormers in the semi. You know, 2 teams that potentially could upset them.
Every time this year we ask who's that team going to be, you know? It used to be the Bulls. The Bulls did it twice.
Yeah. The ghost, what do you call it? The ghost of the Aviva?
The ghost of the Aviva. I mean, you don't see it happen we still sit here and we go, Leinster wins URC.
Yeah. Considering form, look at the points. I mean,
lost 2
points.
games.
It's ridiculous how far they are. They still they could have still lost this weekend and still would have finished top, I think.
I mean, they came here with the academy side and turned the Sharks over.
Yeah.
But the
pressure on the coaching staff
will be big. The pressure will be big on the players, and the pressure on the coaches, I suppose, will increase as well. You know, and if you go into a final with so many guys also looking probably past that to the Lions series,
I was about to say
you know,
the same.
It has an effect.
What does that do to Andy Fairs? You know, like
squad's been selected.
The squad's been selected, but like I would say, you know, before Leinster started wobbling, and maybe 6 Nations, that you know you'll go like Ireland's probably got 80% of the starting lineup sewn up.
It's changed now.
Well, we're going to choose the Lions first. We're going to choose the Lions 15.
Now it looks, it feels different at least. Yeah.
Bordeaux, Toulouse. Toulouse also favourites. They were giving, look, did you expect Toulouse to not make, Dupont's not there, okay? But did you think Bordeaux, they would have won that semi or that playoff game so easily?
No, I didn't.
They're an awesome side to watch, Bordeaux.
But I still thought, because Bordeaux beat, so I was kind of going on the stats as well. Bordeaux beat Toulouse twice in the top 14. To go 3 in one season, you know, that's that against a quality Toulouse team with a great pack, great depth, and still the ability in their backs to score tries from anywhere. You know, to go beat them, it had to be a...
They comfortably 1 and 2 in the top 14.
Yeah,
they're going to get
special
each other
effort.
Again.
Yeah.
It had to be a special effort, but man, oh man, did they live up to the expectations, Bordeaux. They're a proper rugby team.
Guys,
2 wings, Bill Beret and Devin Pinot.
Pinot left the field
He's got
injured.
ankle. How do you stop those guys? Because you got one. Remember when the Auckland Blues had Joely Vandiri the one side, then it would go wide to Lomi or someone. Obviously a lot bigger and stronger. But how do you stop a team like that?
Guys, I mean, how good is Maxime Luku?
Yeah.
Luku, Jalibert.
Jalibert was special in that.
Mofana. I mean, you go through the
8th man that's gone back to the Wallabies now. Samu, yeah.
Pete Samu, I mean, he looks unreal in open play.
Big Ben Tamafuna.
Like he had a try and a try assist.
Yeah.
So I thought from a forward battle point of view that Toulouse might have the upper hand, and that Bordeaux would not have the pack to match them. They matched them and upped it even more, you know. So so then you have that, and you have the backs that have got the ability to score from anywhere.
Guys, how good is their attack?
That's beautiful, eh?
When they get going and offloading and the rhythm and everything.
They're the fastest starters and the strongest finishers in the competition this year.
Yeah.
And like, if you play with that intensity, I mean, you Toulouse, you know what's coming. You want to, make it, suffocate them at source. Don't let them get into their rhythm. There's going to be lion speed. You're going to be on top of them. Their skill execution, that first 15 minutes, was off the chart. I mean, it's unbelievable, that.
Do Saints have the pack to stop them?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so. I think
Saints can hold, but I'm not sure. Look, they can hold. I don't think they'll dominate.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, they're going to give you opportunities, Bordeaux, because of the way they play. So, I mean, for Saints, you know, when you're on top of the ball and you get the ball, you've got to make sure you score points. You've got to be, I think, to beat Bordeaux, you've got to score 30 points.
I think we were sitting here saying, how do Saints beat Leinster?
Yeah.
And we found it very difficult to find a way for them to beat them. You kind of need a close to perfect game, use all your opportunities, etc. And they did that on the day. And a bit of X factor from Freeman. Finn Smith had a brilliant game as well. Yeah. And you're going to need the same from them against Bordeaux to get a result. You know, if you make it boring, maybe you've got the ability to match them, or at least to irritate them enough to force them into making mistakes. I don't think they'll go that route.
The only way is to go play rugby against them, and you know, hopefully you get off to a fast start. Yeah. I mean, scoreboard pressure's the king. Which they had against Leinster for 80 minutes. You know, they were comfortably ahead. So, I mean, use your opportunities. Which against Leinster they created opportunities and used them all.
So Bordeaux, most points, tries, meters made, clean breaks.
Yeah.
They're playing the best team in turnovers in club rugby.
Yeah, they got a record amount of tries in the season. I mean.
Turnover ball, Saints scored. That's the only way.
Penno scored 13 himself or something. I mean, Bill Barrea scored 8 or 9. I mean, like
he scored like something like 30 odd tries, I think, this season. Bill Barrea in all competitions.
It's unbelievable.
Like crazy amount of tries.
Is it quicker than a young Brian Abana?
I don't know.
I don't know. Brian was absolutely.
I know what Brian would say.
BH11. BH11.
Who's that?
Wait.
Where is he? Who's that?
Brian was.
We'll get a message for Brian to be on show.
Exactly.
Brian had gas.
Brian was faster than Cheetah once.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Augustus, alignment cab call up, well deserved. He's been consistent for the Saints. I must say, he's been good.
I think
a good move for him.
It opens up a whole new can of beans, with him being included.
There's a can of beans, a can of worms.
Can of worms.
Yeah. So I'm not sure.
Depends what I want.
Beans or worms?
Depends what you want that morning.
Beans. Is it okay?
Can of worms. Can of beans.
Open up a can of worms.
Bean worms.
Beans or worms? Yeah, bean worms. Yeah.
Bean worms. A whole new can of bean worms. For the fact that Manus van der Merwe and John Augustus is in the alignment camp, because traditionally it was, okay, you've played a couple of test matches, you go overseas, you capitalise on the contracts there, but you're still included in the box setup. Now we're seeing guys going earlier, making a name for themselves overseas, and then getting invited into.
Jasper Wiese.
Okay, Jasper as well.
John Klein.
Yeah, but John Klein played international rugby.
Okay.
I'm just saying youngsters, because then you can go, what's the flank for Montpellier? Same thing.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying it's more and more. I think for a youngster to make the decision to stay in South Africa or go overseas, it makes the decision far easier to go abroad if you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, for Trocchi, it's well deserved. It didn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
And he's improved. Like, he's always been a good ball carrier when he was at Stormers, but like, he's got a bit more to him now. He's most dominant carrier in Premiership rugby, which is amazing.
Yeah. So work rate for me, it always reminds me. Remember, Wiese was a good player before he left South Africa. Then somehow Leicester got him fit. I asked him, "What's the difference?" He just got fitter. And that's it. So now you got repeat effort, you got carry more, and I think that's what Trocchi's done.
Trocchi's done exactly.
He's just gone to. He was a devastating player.
He's always been good on the ball.
Good on the ball, but now he's just more. You're seeing more and more of him.
And do you think the decision to go to Ulster is a good one for him? I don't know if that's.
I'm not sure,
because they're really struggling. In URC, Saints on this kind of role at the moment.
I think it's the team of the future, the young All England players. They'll go through a couple of good years.
Tell you, like, Ireland will have to make a few tough calls because at the moment they're almost heading to a place. I mean, Munster's Munster, but they almost only got one club.
Yeah.
You know, Connacht finished second last in the comp. Where were
Yeah,
they?
and Connacht and Ulster,
Ulster.
normally they would have pushed hard for top eight.
Top 8.
You know, now they
Munster did well to get into the top 8, and then obviously, I mean, they've got everything in Dublin at Leinster. So, you know, like I think it's tricky.
Guys, what happens? Predictions?
Um,
Principality Stadium in Cardiff.
Bath.
Are we
first.
going to talk about Bath, Lyon?
No, we'll get there first.
Oh, okay. No, I'll go Bordeaux.
Saints. I'll say Saints.
Okay, like a shimmy. I like that.
Let's talk about a night out in Cardiff, boys. We've all been there.
Talk about a night out in Bordeaux where I
Been there. We've
where
been there.
where I cracked my wallet on YouTube.
Okay, let's talk
Let's talk about credit card roulette in Bordeaux.
credit card roulette in Bordeaux.
Matthew Pearce had a panic attack of epic proportions.
Yeah, he went out. He said, "I'm out of this.
Sorry, I'm
taking
out of
my
this."
card out of the hat."
I'm still paying off.
me-
for that.
He's still paying for our steak and wine.
Me and John Smith went to the walkabout 1 year till all hours. It was good. Cardiff.
Cardiff.
I like Cardiff.
Cardiff's a good night out.
At
also
one
because
stage, it was always like our last test match.
Yeah.
So like that was your big fines meetings, and then out you go. And everything is so central. Eh? We used to stay at the Hilton, and
The Tiger used to be next to the Hilton. You just
Yes.
walk across.
Yeah. Oh, guys, I've got an idea. How about we do Boks Office? Because South Africa's playing Wales last test of the year after Ireland.
I like this.
Live Boks
John, will you
Office.
come out with us or?
Live
We've
Boks
got one
Office
night
at the
in-
walkabout.
I wouldn't disclose what day of the week this was before we played a test match, but me and Barney went to watch the Stereophonics at the
Okay.
convention centre, and then we
Remember
went
that?
to the walkabout.
We watched Brian Adams the 1 year as well.
Yeah.
Remember in Cardiff?
Okay, guys, Challenge Cup. Bath against Lyon. I'm not sure about the venue though.
Same menu.
Cardiff Friday night.
Same menu. Don't worry, we'll help you.
We'll help you. Cardiff
Paul
Friday night.
Boys, legendary Paul Boys. Thomas the Tank. Dutoy. He's the captain now. He's captain of Bath. Can they get it over the line? Falkland's done well with Bath, yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Bath,
Paul Boys guys are always good leaders.
Bath to get this one, but Lyon sneaky.
Cornell Cricker, Thomas
Yeah.
the Tank.
I think our Bath, still with Bath.
Carl Duplessis.
Someone more at.
Jeez, like there's a few of them.
It's quite a lot. Good captains, good leaders.
A lot of South African coaches involved this week.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
Thomas Dutoy, he's been impressive. Look, he's obviously been around the Bok team, but hasn't really cemented
No.
Starting spot.
that starting spot. But he's a good, I mean, he scrums, tackles, runs,
Yeah,
and he went to Paul Boys and such a good leader.
he's a proper little athlete. He goes well. But you look at our tight head stock. Volkulo is obviously chief destroyer at the moment. You got Frans Malherbe, Vincent Koch,
Koch.
Thomas the Tank.
Trevor is still there and thereabouts.
Trevor is there and thereabouts. Neetland Pusher,
Yeah.
who obviously hasn't really made it there yet, but like
Azanati Krabakanye.
nice little hands, Slabakanya.
Busy.
He's done well.
Yeah, he's done very well, yeah.
Don't run into him.
No.
Smash you. Bath top of the Premiership. Look, obviously they've got Russell Underhill, Kokanasinga, Barbary.
Who?
Kokanasinga.
Smoke and Joe.
Barbary.
Yeah.
Lyon are struggling 11th in the top 14. Do you see Lyon winning this? So you got one team top of the Prem,
Yeah.
other team 11th.
But that's a different competition, right?
Yeah?
No, I'm backing Bath for this one.
Yeah?
I actually watched
Is it
them.
Bath or Bath?
I said Bath.
Wow.
Bath.
Bath.
It's Bath.
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 I watched their game against Leicester this weekend as well, and they were impressive once again. Beautiful shape. Beautiful attacking shape. Defensively, also very solid. Finn Russell at 10, you know, proper rugby player there.
Does he start for the Lions? Finn Russell.
First test match, yes.
Yes.
Why the first one?
Because I'm taking the first test match in isolation.
Yeah.
I'll go Finn Russell to
I
start.
agree.
Okay.
Yeah. Not that we're talking about that now.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm going Bath. They well coached, no real weaknesses.
Yeah.
I think set face good. Yeah, Bath.
Yeah, I think Lyon's, they've got ability to put you under pressure. Nice attacking shape. I did that game they played against Racing 92. They're way better coached than Racing 92. Couple of
Is it Racing or Racing?
Racing 92?
I'm not
Racing,
sure anymore.
I'm not too sure. I'll just go Racing.
Okay, Racing.
Sounds.
Shimmy, you should go into education. You should like become a grade 4 English teacher, a pronunciation coach.
Is it Racing or Racing? I don't know.
Self-proclaimed lexicon.
Tomato. Anjani.
Can of beanworm.
Beanworms. We've come up with a new word.
Beanworm cans.
Yeah.
So Jan van Graan, he's done.
Is it van Graan or
Van Graan?
van?
Is it van Graan?
Or,
It is van Graan.
Um,
Johan van Graan from Pretoria af.
Yeah.
RP.
Obviously he's done well with Bath. Now a lot of he's spoken, international job. Hypothetically speaking, you know what that means. If Rusty had to go, would van Graan would he be in line for the Bok job?
Yeah. You'll be one of them for sure.
I like the fact that
Franco?
we've actually got a few
Yeah, that's quite nice.
outside of the current group that they've got there. A few.
The current group is going to be the best in the world, I think. If you look at the mix of the Bok management now, I don't see a management team better than the Bok management.
No.
By far, actually.
But it's nice then to have a Johan van Graan and a Johan Ackerman that came back, and a Franco Smith has been successful, and these guys coaching Lyon as well. That functions under the radar, but they're there and thereabouts. You saw Albert van der Berg with the Scarlets. You saw Cornell van Zyl with Cardiff on the weekend.
Frans Ludeker still in Japan.
Frans Ludeker.
He's doing what? How's this club gone there? The finals now, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I'm not up to date with the top league at the minute.
So that's good to see, because I think that's somewhere where we still can improve in South African rugby. It's just pipeline for coaches coming through and being able to help them. Because from a player point of view, we're great, but I think from a coaching point of view, we can improve a lot on that.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to do a Lions 15.
Okay.
Quickly, I've got 1 to 5. Genge, Sheehan, Will Stewart, Itoji, and Tig Byrne.
Does Thomas du Toit play loose at Bath?
I think he covers both.
Yeah.
Because Will Stewart's there, then he'll
That's why I'm
He'll
asking.
go
Yeah.
loose at this.
Yeah.
Where Masasa? 6.
Yeah, you got...
Sorry, we did have Locks, Byrne, and Itoje.
Yeah.
6, I'll go Curry. Open side of Van der Vliet.
I think Curry's injured, sorry. I think
injured?
I think he's injured.
But he's
I know Callan Doris is out.
Yeah.
he's not even in the squad.
He's
yeah.
not in the squad. Curry for now. I don't know if he's not going or not. Van der Vliet, Ben All.
Okay.
What's my other options there is I've got
Sure, they'll be.
Jack Morgan. I've got Jack Morgan and I've got Jack Conan. That's my only other 2 options.
Yeah.
And Pollock. Pollock for me is off the bench.
The bench, yeah. Impact.
9, Gibson Park.
Yeah.
Van Russell.
Okay. JDV, talk to me.
I'm going to go James Lowe.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to go
12, 13.
Tui Pelota, Hugh Jones.
Like
Ooh.
Yeah, even though
Scottish
they
combination.
played a lot now, but I just that 10, 12, 13 combination. Freeman 15, 14, and 15. I'm gonna go Ireland for the 15. Keenan, you go. Keenan.
You go.
No, sorry.
But they've got.
I might go with
No.
was it Osborne that played here in South Africa?
No, he didn't make the squad.
So what's their other options? They've got Marcus Smith in the squad,
Yeah.
covering obviously as a bit of a utility.
I think utility impact.
They've got Elliot Daly,
See, Elliot Daly was an interesting selection for me,
also like utility.
but utility, he covers a lot.
And then I'm thinking of the loose forwards. The only other options I've got are Henry Pollock, Jack Conan, Jack Morgan, and then you've got guys who can cover like
Rory Dodge.
Byrne, Tyke Byrne, Ryan. They do it for Ireland.
Yeah, I suppose you could put Bernard at blindside flanker.
If you worry about the lineup.
Yeah, because do you have enough line-out options with those
Curry's
three?
decent. Yeah,
Van der Vliet and Ben
Van der
Al.
Vliet and Hall.
But if you go, that team that we've now selected, it's a strong attacking team with those 3 loose forwards,
It's incredible.
fast loose forwards, to the ball.
And then,
6-2-7-1-5-3.
6-2.
6-2, Elliot Daly covers,
Oh.
and then you do Henry Pollock as loose forward on the bench. He can cover wing for you if he has to.
Trying to think. Porter on the bench.
Ooh, no, but who covers fly off?
Yeah, you're probably Marcus Smith on the bench then.
You need Marcus Smith.
Yeah.
Because he can
Marcus
cover,
Smith.
he can cover
Then he
back
covers-
three
And Alex Mitchell.
and then you need a scrum. Yeah, Mitchell's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alex
Mitchell's
Mitchell,
very good.
Marcus Smith. And then up front you can pick any combination of loose forwards to cover whatever with Henry Pollock.
But it's tough. You can so easily go Bundy Aki, Gary Ringrose as well. You know, so I think it's very similar. The midfield combination. Duan van der Merwe, you know, on the left. I just think James Lowe offers you
Left boot.
so much more.
Yeah,
Territory
it's proper.
kicking, offloading game, understands it.
How many Irish players did we pick in that starting lineup there, boys? Like I've got Finnefleer
Hooker,
and Gibson
Lock.
Park,
I picked 2.
I picked 2.
You
6.
picked 1 who's forward 6.
and Gibson Park.
Yeah.
So that's 6.
And 3.
Look, I would have had Caelan Doris start at captain.
Yeah.
He would have been captain.
I also think so. So we've got 6 Irish, 3 Scottish,
No Welshies.
and 6 English.
Yeah. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, Shimmy.
Good to be back on the box office.
That's lovely. I
It
like
had
it.
nothing to do with pick and pay with these vicious.
How was your beer, by the way?
Eh?
How was your beer?
Good.
Okay.
Very nice. What did you guys have?
Is
There's
that
the water. It's
is
fine.
that your
Thanks to Investec, by the way, for the show, for sponsoring the show.
is that your best meal
What?
buffet?
Okay, on that note, we gotta go. That's terrible. Why are you showing me your arms there?
I'm not.
Pull
I'm
your shirt
scratching.
down. You look stupid. Come, pull it down.
How was your shirt on the weekend, John? That was quite tight, eh?
It's tight. Well, but what happened to your shirt?
No, I had to wear a jacket.
I've never seen a guy so happy to wear a tight shirt. He was tucking it in, everything.
No, I was
You're
not.
ready to go. The guns were out.
I had to throw a jacket over mine. It was too much.
Yours was quite tight on Saturday as well.
Yeah, very tight.
It was tight, but you're looking good.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
That's it for the box office. We'll be back next week to look at the final of the Investec Champions Cup. The box office is now closed.